But now we close the show and the recap off with the people's main event, everybody. Okay, quarter hour numbers are going to be very interesting to watch, and I have no doubt they will be through the roof because it is the debut of Hook as he takes on Fuego del Sol. Hook is making his AEW debut. He's making his televised professional wrestling debut here. 22 years old.
Hmm.
His dad is on commentary. The man comes out to licensed music here. He's got a theme song
Hmm.
by Action Bronson. The song is called "The Chairman's Intent," and I think this is always a good sign that the promoter is taking you seriously and has high hopes for you when he decides to invest a certain amount of money into your theme song. Yeah, and apparently
Hmm. And Tony's showed a willingness. Yeah.
And Taz says he's a apparently good friend. He and Hook are both good friends of Action Bronson as well. So, the future, a potential like live introduction, like with Action Bronson, like accompanying Taz and Hook, I think is already going to be amazing. Just chips falling out the sky. Like, can we just envision it right now? Hook comes out in shorts. He's chewing gum. He's kind of got this like cookie demeanor about him, and big reaction off the bat.
Hmm.
Maybe even before we talk about the match, Kate, tell me about your impression of maybe this phenomenon. How seriously were you taking it? Were you just kind of like in on the joke, so to speak, or were you actively like looking at this as a potential prospect before all this?
I don't know if I was looking at him as a potential prospect literally until Wednesday when it was announced, because this seemed like it could be years away. The rise of this guy as kind of, I mean, not even an internet star. He's like a meme. He has become this icon just purely from people, I think, starting on Reddit and then all over social media. This has become this sort of obsession. And I think at first that was actually kind of sarcastic. It was done almost ironically, but as he's done more, as he's appeared more, you could sort of see that shifting to people actually being interested. And so for them just to drop this like bang, he's debuting, like no discussion in advance, no tease of who he might be facing. It's like Taz just he tweeted out during Dynamite, I've got a big announcement coming up in the next break. It's like, oh, okay, we'll see what that is. It's like, I didn't say you had the big announcement. Like, this is it. It is, it, I think the fact that they just slid that right in actually probably helped because there was already going to be a lot of anticipation around that. So just dropping it so that the world didn't have a chance to sort of get sarcastic and ironic again was probably the best idea.
I really wasn't so much joking when I was saying that I'd be really curious about these quarter hours because I think the placement of a match like this with a cult online favorite on a show that has John and I have been talking, like this is a show that kind of needs its must see event type of programs, and you can only have so many of those if you know
Mm-hmm.
need to build to a big Brian match or a big Punk match. Even those are kind of wearing thin. So, what is something that is going to get people talking online? What is something that is going to make people feel like it's an event? And I certainly didn't think about it, but clearly somebody back there did because this almost felt like it was the perfect thing that like perfectly hits the type of audience that will be watching, would be interested in watching Rampage every week, but might otherwise just kind of DVR the show. So I'm very curious, but we get into the match here. And I, first of all, like it was a thrill to be able to hear Taz on commentary calling the debut of his own son. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
emotionally it meant a whole lot for him, but also because the man knows every single one of the dude's moves. And with all these judo moves, I needed somebody like Taz to be able to kind of guide us along. So Hook comes out here. He hits this judo toss early on that Taz identifies as a Koshi Garuma, and then a Sayanagi, and then hitting this beautiful looking entry into a freestyle bow and arrow. Hook delivers then some punches in the corner before hitting a headbutt. All of it is looking really good. And of course, we have to credit Fuego del Sol, who I think did a great job here as the showcase opponent for Hook. We get Hook is gonna kill you chants from this crowd. Really good looking go behind into a high crotch takeover. And Taz identifies it as Hook calls it the El Camino roll or the El Camino throw. So the kid already has like signature moves. Fuego gets some offense here, but this crowd is actually starting to boo when Fuego del Sol, the guy that they were cheering
how do you do that?
the guy that they were cheering their heads off to try to get a contract off of Miro, they were booing here. They would have booed CM Punk. I mean, it's Long Island.
Yeah.
They would have booed MJF again. No, maybe not that. Anyway,
not that far, but
Fuego,
close. It would have been a fight.
Fuego goes for his signature tornado DDT, but Hook just puts the brakes on, takes him down with a big lariat. His cockiness, I thought, was really good, and he's already he picked up like how to play to the crowd, you know. And then this was actually like a really heartwarming moment for me. Hook picks Fuego up, traps him in a head and arm capture, and delivers a picture-perfect overhead belly-to-belly suplex, exactly the way his dad looked, like in ECW. The same type of lift, you know, like it looked picture-perfect like a Tazplex. And then with his opponent trapped, Hook applies a number of clubbing forearms, again, just like Dad, the perfect setup for the Kata Hajime, the submission victory here, which he has identified as, or renamed as, Red Rum? Is that what he said? Is that what Taz said on commentary?
Yeah.
What did you think, Kate, about this match?
I was really impressed. I thought they just nailed it. I get now that part of the I'm thinking now about how smart it was to let him be this background character, being in all of the backstage skits, being like just coming out, being in front of the audience, doing a move here and because I think that really built up his confidence in front of an audience, and that can be something that betrays a very inexperienced wrestler. Whereas he came out and, like you said, totally cocky, totally able to mug to the audience. And look, his moves look great. They really did look good. I think that I'd heard a bit that it had gone well. But yeah, I think there wasn't one moment where I felt like, yeesh, okay, this really feels like a newbie. I suspect that he and Fuego had probably trained together quite a bit before that. And Fuego made a very good opponent, smaller, quick on his feet, lighter. I thought that he sold the moves really well. And yeah, just what can I say? Absolutely nailed it. And and so I'm looking forward to seeing more of Hook.
I too was really ecstatic after watching this. This kid has I would say largely been a bit of a comedy figure online, and depending on how this performance was going to go, he was either going to stay a meme or he was going to elevate himself into being a legitimate young prospect in this company. And he did that. He absolutely did that. Exceeded expectations even after hearing people, in their rave reviews. His in-ring offense looked legitimate.
Exactly.
And the kid has a very legitimate, of course, amateur background, of course. Good-looking punches.
And I thought it was very good that they called that out right away.
Good-looking punches.
They said it right off the top, and you could see it immediately. Yeah.
Great-looking throws. He's got a very natural anti-charisma that sets him apart from many of the others in this company. You can almost look at him as like sort of a heel Orange Cassidy, somebody who doesn't say a whole lot and doesn't need to in order to get over. There's a lot of attention on him tonight, fair or unfair, but I do have to admit, I think a lot of it was, somewhat mocking. But like you said, Kate, I think there was a lot of people really, truly curious how this guy was going to look. And he definitely turned all of that attention into, I think, legitimate admiration. And I don't want to overstate it, everybody. This is his first match. Don't go crazy about wanting to put the belt on him or anything like that. I don't even think the man should he should only be on Dark, or the occasional Rampage match, sure. But this is the kid's first televised match. He has years left. He's only 22. But yeah, Kate, that's a good question. How do you see Hook's next year going in AEW?
I think that, yeah, give him matches on Dark and Elevation. Let him get the experience under his belt. I think also if you want to have him on Rampage or even on Dynamite, I think that you can have him work with in tag matches or in trios matches. You've got Starks and Hobbs there. I think that that allows you to protect him a bit, and I really think they should. I got the feeling with a lot of people online that they were waiting to see this match to decide whether or not their interest in him had been ironic.
Hmm.
And so when he does well, it's like, oh yeah, we're always behind him. If
Yeah.
he'd slipped up at all, it would have been we knew he was nothing.
Hmm.
I think good for him. I was scared for him, like being that age and having those sorts of expectations on you. And no, well done. I think that there's no reason to over push him. Protect him a bit. Let him get the experience in, and he'll do just fine.
I can't wait to see like in 5 years time what he's going to look like, like we definitely have our tiers of like, definable tiers in AEW where obviously at the top it's like your Kenny Omegas, Brian Danielson's. Next level you've got, like your four pillar types, MJF, people really on the cusp of breaking into that next level. And then like, you have like a big mix of other people in the middle. You have certainly young people who are very like solid and will be on their way up to that MJF level very soon, like a Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta types. And then you have your brand new recruits that are going to, in 5 years maybe reach a Daniel Garcia level. And I firmly place Hook, amongst maybe some of the more notable in that level. So very exciting.